Schofield. I'm now joined with A.K.A George on lockdown at the moment. How are you?
I'm doing very well. I'm just like I was just saying to you, like it's okay, like just being locked down at the moment because I don't know. I'm mostly when I'm working on songs or writing, I'm just locked down anyway. So it's just like an everyday thing for me.
Yeah, it's just inducing the creativity, keeping it going for you.
Yeah, exactly. And also, like I'm always quite good when everybody else is not doing anything for a while. Like I quite like it at Christmas. I like get loads of ideas for songs and stuff at Christmas because I just feel like everybody's in, I don't know, maybe it's that I think I'm like getting one over on everybody because I'm like, now everyone's sleeping, I'm just going to work.
Yeah, gonna do my thing, gonna fuel my fire. Yeah, exactly. That's the way. But I had a look at your Bad For You lockdown video because you shot that all on photo booth, didn't you?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
How much fun was that?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't actually opened Photo Booth for like 5 years. So I just checked, you know, when you open up Photo Booth and you see like a load of photos that you've taken, like about, it always gives you the most recent ones. So they were just like 5 years old, and just like me and my friends just all those filters like on.
Yes, I used to love them.
I love them so much. But yeah, because I had this video planned for it when I was, before the lockdown happened, and then this all happened, and I thought I've got to still do the video. I've got to put something out, but I've got to make it. Got to do it all from home. So I just thought, why don't I do a quarantine video and just.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of works as a song for this kind of time as well with the lyrics. It does fit.
That's weird about it. It was kind of quite. It sort of came together a little bit in a weird way.
Yeah. I had a little reading. You were quite a multi-instrumentalist. Like as a child, you kind of like learned a lot of different instruments. So how many instruments can you actually play?
I can play. Well, my main instruments are drums, guitar, and piano. So that's like my main three. And like I was always a drummer when I was a kid. That's really what I wanted to do. And so yeah, that was always difficult with like neighbours and stuff because like the drums is not the best. Obviously, it's like the loudest thing you could possibly choose, and I think that's probably what draws like a lot of people to it when they're a kid. They're like, yes, that's the guy who's making all the noise at the back.
Yeah, exactly. It's good to make enemies at an early age.
Yeah, like neighbour enemies. Yeah, like because we moved around quite a lot when I was young. I moved from Rugby to like near Wales, sort of Herefordshire way. So even though we were kind of in rural places where there wasn't many like houses around, that almost made it worse because you really knew your neighbours. Do you know what I mean? Like you were locked in with them.
Yeah.
But I've like ruined so many relationships with people for my mum from just being a loud bastard. Yeah. I started on drums and then I just sort of write songs on piano. I play guitar. I also play I played a bit of trumpet. I've tried a lot of things, but mainly I come back to just guitar and piano and drum.
Yeah, but as a musician, it's great to have those skills because if you ever do want to bring those in, you know, a cheeky track that might work with those instruments, it's quite nice to mix it up a little bit. So it's good you have that power. It's great.
Yeah, and I love like picking up instruments even that I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Because I think if you want like a string part or a violin on something, you would go to someone who plays the violin. That would be logical. But sometimes I think you can get something really interesting out of someone who doesn't know how to do something. Do you know what I mean? If they're just getting this beginner's kind of vibe to it, it's magic.
Yeah, it's like a happy accident. That's good. I like that. It's more raw. Yeah. But I was having a look at your monthly mix playlist as well. Had a few different bands on there. Bit Billie Eilish, bit of Springsteen, bit of Jerry Cinnamon. Bit of Anderson.
Yeah, I love Jerry Cinnamon.
Yeah, he's cool, isn't he?
Yeah, like I only know him through that song that I heard this year. Have you known about him for a while or not?
I have. Yeah, I've known about him on the circuit in the past, so I've seen him do quite a bit of that. He's really cool. He's great live.
I bet he is. Yeah, because it's got that vibe about it anyway. But that track, what is that track that I put on the thing?
It was Bonnie, was it? Yeah.
Man, so good. I love him, and I love that whole vibe. I listened to the album. I really love him. And yeah, Billie Eilish and Bruce Springsteen. They're quite eclectic, but I just like good songs. Really, that's all.
I think all of those songs are just really well written as well, aren't they? The songwriting in like Springsteen has some amazing songwriting, and Billie Eilish, the way she crafts her tracks are amazing. And the fact she does it all from home is just mind blowing, isn't it?
Yeah, so good. Her and her brother, isn't it? Phineas. Yeah, I love that.
What a duo. I wish my sister could get on board, but we can't. Get dear. But Stone Cold Classic, I was at like that was the first track I actually listened to. Was first was Stone Cold Classic, and you worked with Dan Lancaster on that one, didn't you? Which is amazing guy to work with on, you know, kind of a new project and bringing that as a fresh sound, because it was huge and it's done really well. I mean, 14 million streams. That's incredible. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's done really well. Like, I don't actually know Dan that well. I sort of just I wrote the track, did the instruments, and I sent it to him because I know someone who's a friend of his, basically. So I just sort of said, like, can you get this to Dan somehow and just make it better? And he did. He made it better. So yeah, I mean, it's really cool to work with him.
Yeah. But then
like, when you're at a certain level, you're just trying to like gather in favors from loads of people. Do you know what I mean? So that's what that kind of was. I was like, just get this to Dan Lancaster.
Yeah, and it did, and it sounds big. So you did it. You nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. It's good. But Stone Cold Classic 3...
It did better than I had expected, that version, because you were about to say Stone Cold Classic 3000. Well, that like remix version that I did, I thought, this will probably do better. I don't know why. I just thought like, just the way music is. Like, I love rock music and like that kind of thing. Yeah. Like the original Stone Cold Classic. Like, I was like, okay. But I thought, the other one, I think it's more, I don't know, it just might go bigger. But it didn't. The rock one went bigger, and that was weird to me. I was like, whoa. Yeah. There are people out there who kind of like are into this stuff. Do you know what I mean? And it's not like it's over for guitar music.
No, it's not dead. Whatever people say, it's not dead. It's wrong. Exactly. Yeah, but there's a lot of personality in your music, and that's what I love. There's like a controlled recklessness to it, that it's that big reckless energy that I think works so well with your sound. Like Bad For You, I've had that in my head for such a long time. Like, it's so hooky, like the way you write and the way you craft your songs, they just stick in your head, and that makes such a big song. And it's got these big riffs in there as well. But that's just under 2 minutes, that track as well. So was that something that when you wrote it was just quite a short track, or?
Well, I did actually have like a bit in the middle of it as well, because that track is like, basically that track is being in a really, just a relationship that's bad for you, basically. Yeah. That is what it is. It's about a toxic relationship, and you not being able to get out of it and maybe wanting to stay in it, you know, that kind of thing. And I'd written a few things. I'd written like a bit in the middle for it as well. But there was just a point where I just thought, I don't need to say this bit in the middle. If I can just say it in 2 minutes, I should just say it in 2 minutes. Like, I've always been a fan of really short songs, and like, it reminded me a little bit of Song 2 by Blur, when I was making it.
That's super short.
Just that, and that's 2 minutes. And I thought, I've got to get it under 2 minutes. I put it at like 1:54 or something. I can't remember. Yeah,
just under. Like, But that's it. It doesn't need to kind of get over that 2 minute mark, because if it's got everything that it needs in that under 2 minutes, why make it longer if you don't need to?
Exactly. I think like in songwriting, with like middle sections or whatever you call them, like middle eights or bridges or something, I think if they're not like the best thing in the song, just get rid of it. It doesn't need to be there. It depends on the song as well, because if you're writing like a more emotional or kind of open kind of song about something that's deep or can be explored a little bit more, you probably want it to go on for a bit longer anyway. But when there's something, you've just got something to get off your chest quickly, and it's a bit raucous and a bit kind of like in your face, I think the short thing,
get it out there. That's exactly it. And because Up All Night, like, I love your videos as well, because they are like, there's like a really nice DIY feel to your videos, but they like work so well. Because Up All Night, that's a big in your face track, and I like it's got a big in your face video to go with it. I think that worked really well.
Oh, cheers. That that video is actually, do you know, the Bad For You video was like done in less time than the Up All Night video, but I actually prefer the Bad For You video. It's just got a bit more like in your face kind of pop about it. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. But it's going to be interesting, because I'm writing the second EP now. Like, I'm trying to think, how am I going to do the videos for this? Because it's just going to continue this lockdown. So I'm going to have to do like a series of these videos now. I think I've used all these ideas, I'm afraid.
You're going to have to drag out that photo booth for some inspiration, get some more photos out.
Yeah, that's right. Maybe I'll just do one whole video where I'm just on that roller coaster film.
Yes. I think that's a winner. I think you've called it. You've called it. But But Money as well, I thought that was a really nice finishing track for the EP as well, because that was the big kind of, the guitar riffs in that is huge. It is such a huge track, but it is quite different to the others as well. So was that kind of a decision that you wanted to make to put that at the end of the EP for that big bam?
Yeah, I guess so. It's weird, that song. That song like was so quick to write. Like the time it takes to listen to it is probably the time it took to write it. It's just like one of those things where you're just on a vibe, do you know what I mean? Rather than thinking like, how can I best say this? It's not like one of those songs. So it's just, it just came out like that. And I thought, if it came out like that so naturally, then it is me, you know what I mean? I don't have to leave it off the EP because it doesn't fit in with the EP or anything. I just think that is me. Just put it on, you know? It's a bit more of a kind of an all-out rock kind of vibe than I would normally do, but it's still me. So, and actually, I think when I wrote that, I think money was on my mind because I had this studio in Canning Town in London.
Yeah.
And I was sharing it with some guy, and he basically, we were both, I think I would take the day and he would take the night.
Yeah.
I think he was sleeping there as well. I think that's what the deal was. So, and like we were both paying for it. And then one day he was like, "Oh, I can't afford it anymore. I'm going to leave." And I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll take over for a little bit and try and find someone else." And he was like, "Okay, I'm leaving now." I was like, "Oh, okay." He was like, "So I'm going to take all my stuff out now." And I was like, "Okay, but you know what's mine and what's yours, don't you?" And he was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Okay, because I can come and help you if you want." No, it's fine. I don't need any help. Anyway, the next day, like a load of my stuff was missing, and I called him and I was like, "What happened?" And he was like, "Oh, I didn't have any help, so I just got I got a couple of Russian dudes off Craigslist to come and empty the studio."
Oh no!
What? Why? I could have helped you. Anyway, I'd had this conversation with him, and I was thinking about, oh no, I've got to, because there were a couple of things that were missing that were expensive. I was like, I don't have enough for that, and I need to pay for this. And I was like, and then money was on my mind, so I wrote that riff, and that song came out. So
a bit of anger in there as well.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Raw anger. Yeah, where's my stuff?
Why?
Yeah, don't do this.
Nothing good
came off that, surely.
Oh no, I know. Have you kind of caught up with all your equipment again? Have you got everything that was missing? Have you kind of caught it back up?
I got him to replace a little bit as well because he needed to. So yeah, it's all sorted now.
You're back in the game. That's the main thing. You're back in the game. So were there some tracks on the EP that you left off, or are you saving them for a later time, or is it the next EP going to be brand new tracks that you're just working on now?
Well, the next EP is going to be brand new tracks. I did leave one song off the EP, which was a song called Manic Machine, because it was just a little bit too, I don't know, it sounded like a metal song. It was way too heavy. Like it sort of skewed the whole EP. And when you listen to it as an EP, it's sort of, I don't know, it just felt a bit weird to me. So, but I might put that up and just let people hear it anyway as a separate thing. Do you know what I mean? But the new EP it's all kind of new songs. It's a little bit less kind of guitar-y, I would say. There's quite a lot of bass guitar and a bit of, it's kind of more moody, I would say, than kind of poppy.
Ah, exciting. Because you've kind of experimented quite a bit with tracks, because some of your tracks before this kind of new A.K.A George project, you worked with a little bit of electronica and kind of experimented with that kind of stuff. So it must be quite nice to have that creative control where you can play around with different sounds and bring different things into it.
What's natural to me has always been kind of instrument kind of stuff. I'm an instrument guy. Like I'm a drummer, I'm a guitarist, so things come to me easily like that. I think those things, there's more electronic tracks that I put out a while ago. They're a bit of an experiment, you know, and I just sort of, I went on a bit of a different path. And I think now I've come back, but I'm changed for it. Do you know what I mean? And I know some extra little bits of where I could go with something just to make it a little bit more interesting than just being meat and potatoes rock. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that this next EP sort of touches on it a little bit, but it still feels like this EP as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not really trying to think of it that much. I'm just like sort of just doing it, and I think that's the best way. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, especially because I think they're some of the best tracks, and there's a rawness to them when they come out like that, and they're kind of more personal to you then because they've come like from your head straight to instrumentation. So that's really, really cool. Do any of your songs start out stripped back at all, or are they all kind of quite full pelt in, or do you mix them around a little bit?
I do write some, like it. I think what you write it on changes the thing, like the song straight away. Like it dictates what you're going to do with it. So I'll write things on piano, but you're never going to write like a really high energy rock track necessarily on the piano. Necessarily, you could, but it's more likely to be something else. And so, yeah, I do. I often just start with an acoustic guitar or a piano. That's really how I start. So I'm just kind of, except like if I plug in an electric guitar, then I'll find a sound usually, and then that'll make me write something with a riff, probably like Money or something like that. And that's what gives me that, because I probably wouldn't have written that on an acoustic guitar. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, it's usually piano or acoustic. It could be anything, to be honest. Sometimes I just hear music and I start singing to it if I'm listening to something instrumental, and I think, I've got to steal the chords for that. I've got to do my own version of this.
Just cycle them a bit.
Yeah, I think that's natural. It could come from anywhere.
I think
so many different styles of music that, I think it's healthy as well. I think, and the minute I do something really one way, I kind of want to do something the other way for a while as well.
And I think we're exposed to so much music so easily now. It's so readily there that I think it's impossible to not hear things and them subliminally move into stuff, because it's just so easy to pick up music now.
Yeah,
definitely. I think with Spotify and streaming things, it's interesting how they categorize music now, because they won't go so much by genre, they go by like mood. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So you get like heavy metal songs within, like, next to quite heavy rap songs, but it's all the same mood. It's not necessarily the same genre. So genre is sort of irrelevant in a way. It's quite good.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
So, and you've signed to Antifragile as well, which is great.
Yeah,
it's an exciting step.
like the first
thing I've put out with a label, and it's been great. Like, I love Antifragile. The guy who runs it, Tom Sarrig, he's such a cool guy. Like, he's been kind of A&Ring this next EP, and it's like a meeting of minds with him. We know exactly what we're doing, so it's really good. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic! I mean, that's such an exciting step, and it's nice you can work on some stuff while you are in lockdown, because you've got the productivity there. So when you come out, you'll have this kind of bigger plan, which is really exciting.
Yeah, I'm sort of excited about that. I don't know when are we going to come out of it?
I don't know. I literally have no idea. No clue. Just waiting.
Like, I was thinking, okay, it's going to be like July. And then I was thinking, no, it's going to be like September. And then I read something that is going to be like, it's unlikely that anything's going to be lifted before the end of the year.
Yeah, I know. So it's like, I know. I'm dying to get back to London. I am. So I'm like, I want to go back.
Or just play some gigs as well. I want to go to some gigs or see something.
I miss gigs. I know it's great to see these live sessions that are going on at the moment as well. But I do really miss being in a gig atmosphere with a beer thrown everywhere and getting soaked.
Replicate that energy.
Yeah, that's it. You can't quite do it in your living room. It's not.
Yeah, you're just sort of...
like, it's good. Oh, well, thank you so much for chatting to me as well. I really appreciate it. And the tunes are massive. Yeah, they sounded really good.
Wicked, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your time.